Welcome to day 3 of the 44 Cup Nanny Cay, and it's going to be another big day on the water. The forecast for today is 18 to 24 knots, but in reality, we've got a solid 22 knots out there with gusts of 26. Let's get straight into the action. It's race 4 and approaching the start line in race 4. It's a great start by Team Nika, 2 boats down from the starboard end. They've had an electric start coming off this start line. Bowman there, hands over the top of his head, trying to use every possible little piece of leverage they can to be able to swing these boats down. The 44s are so over canvas for this type of breeze. And as we look up the course, we can see lines of white water coming down towards them. The crests of these big waves coming through and hitting some of the boats, really knocking them sideways. It's been all about Team Nika on this first upwind. They have a 6 or 7 boats lead coming up into the top here. That's going to be a sizable margin for anybody to grind down. But what that means is everybody else in 2 to 7 is in such a close approach into the top mark. It's nip and tuck between the next 5 boats at least. The boat in second right now is Team Aqua. They are a boat length in front of Team Calero Marinas, and that's a fantastic beat for Team Calero Marinas in the race 4. Turning the boat down now, and they're going to be charging on downwind. Aleph just had a little bit of an opportunity inside Team Artemis there, and a luff to Team Artemis as they're putting the spinnaker up means that Team Artemis may have an issue with their kite going up, putting the boat up out of balance and unstable. There's waving there by the tactician Hamish Pepper, stood beside Tourbillon Twanquist for a penalty on Team Aleph, and that's really put the Catamount pigeons. It's allowed Aleph low, and it's also allowed Team Sierra Vader to sneak in to behind those 2 boats. Already some different tactics down here. The wind is really gusty, but the guys on the left hand side of the screen now look like there's some excellent wind and down angle coming into this downwind. The first downwind has been about Team Nika, and as they round the leeward mark, there's a wing foiler trying to keep up with them going around the leeward mark. I'm sure the wing foiler is going to have something to say about how fast they've been going, but right now it looks like Team Nika have got the upper edge, and they are flying upwind again. It's super busy down into the rest of the fleet though, and there are 4 boats all converging pretty much at the same time. Third from right is Team Aqua. The boat just dropping their kite now to the left hand side of the picture is Team Sierra Vader. They've made a big gain, so the gains on this downwind, looking at this picture from the right hand side, pressure coming down that more open side of the racetrack between the islands, bit bigger space. So rounding the leeward mark, boats timing going around the leeward mark, equal time Team Sierra Vader on the left mark and the boats on the right mark. This second beat is all going to be about who can be in the best vein of pressure. And as we look up the course, the boat that's in the lead, Team Nika, is on starboard tack. They want to get across in this right-hand shift. But it's poor old Peninsula coming in last place at the bottom here. The kite hasn't gone down. The pitman's desperately trying to get the halyards organised, and the bow team trying to recover all of the spinnaker into the boat. Looking up this top end of this second beat though, Team Nika making a slick rounding here and really doing a nice job of getting the boat under control. Tactician reaching forward there to help wind the mainsail back on so the boat gets a bit more stable. And up this beat, it's been all about Team Aleph and also Team Charisma. Both of those boats have made some substantial gains. Aleph up into second now, Charisma into third, with Team Artemis in 4. Probably it wasn't such a good place to be on the left-hand side, looking at where Sierra Vader is here, and the guys who've stepped out to the right-hand side in the upwind have made some big gains. The bowman there trying desperately to get the kite out of the hatch onto the foredeck. The trimmer trying to make sure the tack line comes out and the halyard going up super fast. Looking as we go downwind here, all the boats want to keep it simple. The wind is so fresh at the moment, they're struggling to try and make sure they keep control of the boats. But as we look back at the fleet from the leader's vantage point, it's the bands of pressure that have been coming down the racecourse from this right-hand side of the racecourse that's really been making big game changes for the people in the pack. The lanes of wind are coming down and the teams are trying to execute their jibe and through on port jibe through the middle of the run into one of these big lanes. For the leaders, that's not really so valid to them because they're going to finish first and clearly first at that. Team Nika doing a fantastic job there, but they've been grounding a bit. Team Aleph kind of coming in second here. They're going to pass through on port, speeding through the line, probably doing in excess of 20 knots coming down here and doing a spectacular job. Another really good solid race result for them. Race 4, second place. After their 2 race wins yesterday, that's putting them in really good shape for the overall leaderboard. Then coming down into finish, we've got the boat in third, and then the boat in 4 is just jibing now. People having to jibe really carefully here to make sure that you keep the boat underneath the rig. These massive big square top mainsails, super powerful and really easy to overload as you come out of a jibe. So that's Team Charisma in third, Team Artemis in 4, Team Sierra Vader in 5, and Team Aqua in 6. So now over to Nick Asher, the tactician on Team Nika, the winners of race 4.
Great race for us today. Still windy, and we managed to get off the start line well, and we're very happy with our speed. So from there it was quite straightforward, and the guys did a great job. So we're looking forward to more races today, and hopefully we can get back up that scoreboard.
Race 5. And the wind has abated a little. There's a little bit less advantage for the starboard end here, but there's a bit more of a pack of boats, 2 or 3 boats down at the port end, but the Calero Marina's boat has been over early and they're having to go back. That gives quite a lot of space to the boat in with the blue hull, the Team Peninsula, and they've got a really nice lane as they come off start line. But again, up that towards the committee boat end, it's Team Nika, and they have held well off that end of the start line. Let's see how they go as they approach the beat and up into the top of the course. So Team Nika and Team Aleph at the starboard end. Who's going to come out best at the top of this beat? It looks to me like it's Team Nika again. Another sterling beat for the team from Monaco, with Vladimir Prosikhin steering, Nick Asher doing tactics. They are sailing really nicely today. Super fast, super slick. The pitman there desperately trying to pull the tack line out so the kite doesn't go in the water and drag the boat slow the boat down. Round in 2 is Team Charisma. The person at the back trying to make sure they're hiking out super hard. Round in 3, that's Team Artemis. 4, that's Team CRF. Very, very close to the mark. They're going to have to make sure is the rudder working properly. 5 is Peninsula, that great start in the middle. And 6 is Team Aqua. 7 is the team from Sweden, Gomera. Looking at this boat here, it's Team Nika sailing nicely, jibing, flaring the kite. The jib goes across. The kite sheets in nice and hard. That massive mainsail comes crashing over as the gust hits. The kite trim is trying desperately to get on for the exit of the jibe. Now it's all about getting the weight in the back of the bus to allow the boat to come up and see the plumes of spray speeding out of the side of the boat as they're coming downwind. They look like they're really pressed here coming into the bottom. The kite's just inverting in the top there. They're almost a little bit too shy on this ley line into the leeward mark. But here we go, just putting a jibe in. They've just got enough safety here to put the jibe in and come into the starboard hand rounding for the first leeward gate of race number 5. They're jibing. They're going to lead into this starboard hand rounding mark by the looks of things, and looking up the fleet, looking at where the fleet's gone, they quite like some of the right hand side on this for this next upwind. They've got plenty of space out there and some good lanes of wind coming down the course as Nika surf down a huge wave there into this last approach into the leeward mark. They've got the kite down. It's tucked away. It's safe. The boat's now gradually building its momentum to come up on the wind in a perfect execution of air. They're on the breeze as the boat goes round the mark, just tucking up under the mark there. So any boat that comes around behind them will be in their dirty wind. And the boat coming round in the next boat round is Team Charisma. They're turning up again. Slightly more people doing jobs. The jib's not quite in. They're in good shape around here, but the boat is not quite as efficiently going upwind as the lead boat was when they rounded the mark. Here we come in, and team coming round the mark there was one of the Swedish boats. They're coming round in decent shape in 3rd. In 4th and 5th is Team Zero Fader. The lure mark's totally crazy for the teams at this type of wind strength. It's really ridiculously windy out there at the moment, and just trying to get those big spinnakers into the boat is really tough. So this beat's been very smooth, very slick for the Nika team. They've had the option to sail where they wanted. They've sailed nice and clean and clear, and they're again leading into this top mark as they did in the first race. The spinnaker's up. They're speeding away downwind, but the race for the next parts of the podium for today is going to be all about these next few boats. Who are we going to see coming up this beat? The wind's been really strong in some patches going up here. People have been having to deal with some really big gusts, and now that fight from 2 to 7, it's Team Artemis who sailed really swiftly and slickly up this second beat. The tack of the kite's out. That's not going to go in the water. The boat's down on angle. The big mainsail's out. The boat's accelerating away from the mark with a lovely margin from Team Charisma. Team Charisma coming in 3 here, with Aleph having made some gains on that beat. Rapid turn from the boat there with by Nico Poons on the helm. The tactician pointing the angle that he wants the skipper to steer at. And as the boat in 4th, Aleph comes down and rounds the mark and gets the boat down on angle. The boat rolls to windward a little bit, it looks a bit unstable. It's Team Gamera in 5th, having a lovely race here, since they didn't race in the race before. So they're the new young guns in fleet, and they're doing a nice job of trying to make sure they're keeping consistent, with Team Aqua coming in behind them, and then Team Zero Vader not having such a good race for them in this one here. Look at that lead. As we come downwind here, it's Team Nika. The whole team, other than the person on the pedestal, is hanging out the back of the boat. The background, with all the wind blowing along the shore there, the bubbly humidness hanging over the island, showing how much heating there is here. The temperature that the guys are sailing in here, it's t-shirt and shorts weather, whilst we're back in Europe and it's all kind of cold and chilly. But these guys are loving this trade wind, 20 to 25 knots conditions, surfing down through the line there to receive the winner's hoot for winning that race. Race 5 of day 3 of the 44 Cup, Nanny Cay. Team Nika, superb job. It's a lovely race here from Team Artemis. Team Artemis team doing a really superb job and pushing hard, with Team Charisma challenging them, coming through and making their lives hard down this run. But it's a good second from Artemis and a good third from Team Charisma. Who have we going for? Looks like it's the team from France, Team LF, coming in 4. And then a tight scenario here, probably between Team Gamera and Team Aqua for 5 and 6. Team Gamera just sliding through the line there on a nice big wave. with Team Aqua finishing before them, and then Team Sierra Vader. How are they going to finish? Are they going to go down and carry through the line on starboard? Yeah, probably, and it's Peninsula bringing up the rear. Looking at the course here, for sure, still windy. There's not much let up in the breeze, and it'll be interesting to see what we got for race 6. How this wind plays out. Is it going to be the right-hand side that's going to be favoured like it has been a little bit these first couple of beats? Or is it going to be a little bit of a difference? As we get later in the day, the heating might take a little bit of the, make the wind behave a little bit differently. It'll be interesting to see how that is for race 6. Race 6, here we go, and the starter gun goes. The boats are all tight in the middle of the line here, but again it's Team Nika to the windward side of the pack. They like that controlling starboard lane. They can hold as long as they want to. They're very, very happy with their pace. They're able to hold lanes, and they're making a really good job of that, coming off that starboard end and being able to hold a high lane and a fast lane. Team Sierra Vader at the bottom of on the right hand side of the picture here on starboard, they came off the port hand end of the start line, and there's been a little gain to them on this beat. They've made the left hand side work on this upwind, and they're going to be coming in a very tight scenario in the first 3. They're just putting a lee bow on a boat just to windward of them. Might be Team Artemis with Team Nika a little bit further up the stack. One of the boat Peninsula just tacking into a lee bow position here as they're coming into the top mark here, and they're going to slow the boat, the Team Calero boat behind them. Is it going to be Team Sierra Vader coming around the mark? Yes, it looks like the spinnaker poles, the Jenica poles are out already. They're confident they're going to make it. So that's a really good beat. Left-hand side gained out this time. Sierra Vader coming around. They're all sailing under J3, so really windy conditions again. Kites are up, getting into their downwind mode, sailing, trying to sail the waves. Team Gamera going a bit high here to try and keep away from Team Charisma as they come in here. Team Nika not doing quite so well, so the starboard advantage here didn't pay off quite so well for them on that beat. It's all been about the guys from the left-hand side, and you can see the exit angle that they have here after this wheel mark is a lot more left phase. We're riding here with Team Sierra Vader. They're speeding down these waves. The drone footage showing how rapidly the boat's piercing through those waves. The grinder desperately trying to make sure he keeps the kite trim at optimum position for the trimmer. And what that helps us do is make sure we can keep the boat really locked in. The mainsail trimmer and the mainsail caddy are then equally pumping that mainsail to try and surge the boat onto these waves and surf downwind. And all the crew that aren't doing a specific job of pulling a rope or something are stacked right in the back corner of the boat. They're coming into a jibe. Here we go. It's an outside jibe. The kite sets, the mainsail sets, and a lovely jibe there from those guys. Really nice execution. Kite being eased rapidly on the exit of the jibe, and look, the boat's already up to pace. But wow, look how much water there went through the middle of their cockpit there. There'll be a huge amount of water sloshing down around inside the boat there because of that. Next boat round, Team Artemis, they're jibing as well to come into this leeward gate. A nice jibe from them, but a little bit more unstable, not quite as stable there as it was from Team Sierra Vader on that jibe. But both of these boats made a really big jump and a nice gain from coming slightly earlier onto port through the middle of the race course. So the drop on the Slovenian boat, Team Sierra Vader, nice and early. That allows them to come almost planing into this leeward mark. The grinder and the main sheet trimmer really working super, super hard to be able to get those sails in. Doing a little luff there to be able to make it easy for them to get the last bit of the trim on. But as we look up the course, where is the next major part of breeze going to come from? It looks like the boats are a little bit left face here. So the guys coming out on port tack are in a lifted phase, in phase of the shift, but they may be heading towards the next best bit of pressure. Because looking up the racetrack, there's a big band of darkness on the water. Now that is likely to be the shadow from the clouds, but it's kind of coming down the right-hand side of the course a little bit. So potentially that's important for the teams to factor in. Who's going to get to it first? Is it the guys on the left who are going to get into the edge of that really dark patch of wind earlier? Or is it these guys who've gone out to the right, who are seeking to try and get into this windier patch of breeze? Well, we see here is Team Zero Vader. They've sailed a nice beat. They've made a little gain here, had a little bit more of advantage coming up that beat, and the guys from the right didn't make much of a gain. These guys have another little bit of a step forwards. The guy on the bow there, the bowman trying to keep the kite under control, because on the drop, they're not able to get the kite to be zipped. Oh, Team Charisma, are they going to make it around the mark? They are just making around the mark. But Team Gamera, super fast up that second beat, and that's mega close to the back of Charisma. Maybe a penalty. No, not a penalty, just very close. With the Team Artemis, the veterans, well, some might say of the Swedish contingent here, they're coming down just above and getting over the top of the young guns. So speeding downwind here, we're looking at a really solid, pretty pristine race here from Team Zero Failure. The Slovenian team have been in this fleet for many years now, and they're really showing their mettle, doing a superb job in this breezy stuff. The kite pulling the boat, lovely downwind. They're coming into a jibe here, into the last approach into the finish. Just coming in through the line, in fact, just finishing there. That was them finishing for race 6 of day 3 of the 44 Cup Nanny Cay. So victory goes to Team Zero Vader, with Team Charisma holding off the challenge from the guys on that last downwind to nail second place. A good day for Team Charisma. They've really climbed up the leaderboard as a result of that performance. But who's it going to be? Who's going to be at the next one? It's an Aleph coming down in third place. Wow, those guys have made a huge jump to come down in good contention here. They make a jump relative to Team Gamera and Team Artemis. Gamera down in 4. Team Aqua seem to be having an issue, having jibe. They've gotten the kite halyard down and trying to get the kite back up. Team Artemis maybe even just snuck it from Team Gamera. Down into the finish here, it's super close. The kite's still flapping on Team Aqua. Can they get it pulling to come down into finish? Who's it going to be between Peninsula and Aqua? It looks like it's just Peninsula who've taken the breeze at Aqua in the last dying seconds of that run, with a fast approaching Team Nika into the finish. A bit uncharacteristic of them being so far back in the fleet on today's race results. Over to an interview with Igor La, the winner of the last race to Team Zero Vader.
So it was a tough day today again. I think it's beautiful with such a wind and these waves. So amazing to sail something like this. I'm really looking forward also for tomorrow.
Looking forward to day 4 tomorrow, the last day of the regatta, and fingers crossed there's some more windy conditions. But maybe for the teams, they might want it a little lighter just to get a little bit of a break from the fatigue of doing 4 days now of super windy sailing.